Welcome to the Be Strong Show. I am your host, Michelle Shirley, CEO and Chief Heart Officer for Be Strong International. I am so excited to be back in the studio with community newspapers. What an honor and a privilege it is to share all the amazing things happening in South Florida with nonprofits, with businesses. And so we want to encourage you to continue to stay tuned to the Be Strong Show. We are here. We are doing amazing things. And it's all about you, giving you the education you need so that you can know how to navigate through South Florida's nonprofit landscape and so much more. With that said, I want to remind you too that we have our annual Hearts in Rhythm event coming up at the Rusty Pelican, March 14th. We would love your support for us to achieve our fundraising goal. We need you there. We would love to have you there. And the Rusty Pelican is an amazing, amazing location for the ambiance, the amazing food, and of course, supporting everything about Be Strong as we move individuals and families from brokenness to wholeness. So today, I have an amazing guest, super beautiful woman who is here with us in the studio. And without hesitation, her name is Miss LaKeisha Wells Palmer. She is the Executive Director statewide for Teach for America. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me. What an amazing introduction.
Yes, yes. From the moment I saw you, I was like, oh my God, you are so beautiful. You're so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
Appreciate that.
And we have to encourage one another, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really important. So with that said, I want to get right into it because I know there may be people here that are watching that don't know what Teach for America is about, but I want to get into really quickly what is happening with the teacher shortage.
Ooh, that is a loaded question. Not only is it a loaded question, it's also a national crisis. So across the nation, organizations like Teach for America or universities, districts are struggling with the teacher shortage. And so I know it's something that is top of mind for most people, and a lot of people are coming together trying to create solutions around it. For the state of Florida, we started off the school year with 4,000 teacher vacancies.
Wow.
4,000. Now, it has since dwindled because, like I said, districts, legislators, everybody is working diligently to make sure that students have a quality teacher in front of them on a daily basis. But it's definitely something that we really need to drill down into to understand what the core root is. The other thing that I would say about the teaching field is that 3 out of 4 teachers that come to teaching are coming from an alternative certification pathway, meaning they didn't go to the College of Education. They may have been a science, a biology major, or a history major. They have the content knowledge and they want to give back to students, but they might not have gone to education to do so. And so with that, it's an extra layer of additional support that you will have to provide for them. So not only are we experiencing vacancies, folks that are in our new generation, Gen Zers, are not looking at education as the first choice. They have a different set of motivations. They like immediate gratification. They don't like to be in a box. They don't like the 9-to-5 time. But I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not going to age myself. But I knew that I wanted to be a teacher at a very young age. And that is just not the mindset of this generation. And so I know a lot of folks are looking at what is motivating Gen Z. How can we invest them in the future? Because eventually the students that we are serving are going to be taking care of us. So we have to have some level of responsibility. But we're focusing on closing the vacancy gap by looking at front of the funnel recruitment strategies. How can we motivate the next generation? How can we pull from other fields to put folks on an education pathway? But we're also focusing on retaining the teachers that are in the classroom, because we started to see folks that have been in the classroom for a long time not be invested in it anymore, and they are transitioning to other roles. So we're trying to close it at both sides of the funnel. And again, there has been a collaborative effort at all layers to be able to do that.
Wow. I mean, you've said so much there. I'm trying to think too that now with, I think what you said was so important as far as like the new generation that's coming behind us that really doesn't see education as something being sexy, right?
Right.
It's also been known that the pay isn't great.
Right.
right? And then now we're seeing like a real just a lot of issues all across these states with students and their behaviors and how they are, outrightly defiant with teachers, right? And substitutes. And so how are you all kind of making it more, I guess, sexy in a way?
Yeah. I would say that to your point, one of the things that keeps me up at night is that our students are not well right now. Just coming out of COVID, academically, we've seen a decline specifically in 4th and 8th grade reading and math. We've seen probably the lowest numbers in the NAEP score since 1970 nationally. So they're academically not well. Social emotionally, they are not, they did not receive a set of tools, or they may have been in situations throughout the COVID process that did not allow for them to be able to integrate appropriately. So they are experiencing those behaviors. So being in the teaching field is getting harder. So because not only do teachers have to focus on the academic aspects, they have to look at how can we look at that student as a whole student and be able to support them emotionally and socially. And so that's one of the things that has made it hard. And then when you have to do that extra layer of work with the pay that we have, I would say that Florida is right in the middle of pay. There's a lot of work that we can do. I will say that there has been a lot of work done on increasing the teacher pay for entering teachers. We have to do a little bit of balance in rewarding those teachers that have been in the field for a long time, going back to the point of retention. But in this year's legislature, there is a lot of policies going through the focus on grappling with the teacher shortage, but then also looking at salary as a symptom of one of the things that are not pulling it in. Gen Zers want to be they are enticed by social justice. So one of the things that we are focusing on when we recruit Gen Zers is that education is a social justice issue, and you will be creating change in the lives of students just in a different way. And so that is one of the things that we are investing them in based on what they're motivated by. At Teach for America, we support them in having like transition packages, support packages, which makes them, it gives them a package that is more enticing as to another organization that might reach out to them. So we're really looking at research that says this is what Gen Z likes, focusing our recruitment strategies on those mechanisms to get them into the door, but then also being able to support and develop them in a way that they are going to be satisfied with the education as a career pathway and want to stay in the education field.
That's so good. That's so good. With all of the influx of these changes to recruit, I love what you said about the fact that there were and are teachers who have been in the system 15 years, 20 years. They went through that COVID period, which was a really tough transition for them as well. What are they saying? How are they feeling about this? Because I'm sure that they are so vested in their profession. What's their take on what's happening? And do you see any opportunities for like mentorship?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that our veteran teachers are saying, one, we want to be paid more. Like we are trying and true. We've been here, we've done that. We have a record of results. We want to be able to be rewarded for what we are trickling down to students. They are also really, really passionate about their growth trajectory. So how can I get professional development if I have been a teacher for double-digit years to potentially go on to be a coach or potentially go on to be a school leader? They really want the districts to not only support them in their short-term development and getting students to where they need to be, but also into their long-term development. How can I have a 5, 6, 7 year runway at this district and continue to grow my capabilities to be in a leadership role? And so I would say that is one of the things that they are really focused on. They also look at reaching back to the newer teachers or the novice teachers as a way of building their own leadership. And so we like, at Teach for America, we like to pair our novice teachers with veteran teachers that have been in the classroom for years, because they are the ones that are going to teach you the lay of the land. They're going to teach you the mistakes that what not to make. And so whenever we partner with the school and bring our Teach for America teachers into the school community, we make them a part of the community. They have to be a fabric of that being, adopting the vision, principles, mindsets of what that school environment is, and looking at that broader school network as a school community community that they are a part of in addition to the Teach for America network.
Wow. And you have, when I think about that, I think that's such an amazing business model because it also helps the younger teacher
Right.
that's coming in to recognize long term, this is what I should be doing if I'm
Right.
thinking about legacy.
Right.
Right.
It gives them something to look at. Like, I can see myself being in the classroom for 12 years now if I
Right.
have had this relationship with Ms.
Right.
Richardson.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I think the key is pairing them with someone who has that joy, right?
Right.
Right. Really selecting and making sure that mentor is, you can still see that, while things might be hard, they are so deeply passionate. They are so the same from when they started
Right.
year one.
Right.
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 I think is contagious. You all, because of that model, I feel like that's what's led into your alumni network. Like
Yes.
you have talk about that, because that to me was like mind blowing.
Okay, yeah. So typically people look at Teach for America for what I call the middle of our pipeline trajectory. We actually have a beginning, middle, and end. We have our Ignite Fellows. Those are the individuals we recruit in their freshman and their sophomore year. They focus on high impact tutoring. Those are the Gen Zers that we get really riled up in being invested in education, give them a soft touch on how they can impact kids, and we're going to cultivate them to be the next generation of leaders. Our traditional model are the folks that we recruit in their senior year to come in and serve a 2-year experience. Most of them in the state of Florida stay beyond that. We have an 86% retention rate, and so we really focus on it being a lifetime trajectory. Once they finish the 2-year program, they move on to what I call the lifetime investment in education, which is our alumni body. Across the state of Florida, we have about 2,000 alum. Specifically in South Florida, we have about half of those alum that are matriculating, growing, learning, developing in their capabilities here. And so I look at the alumni as our key lever because they have been in the classroom in the education system for 6, 12, 15 some odd years. So teachers are wonderful. We need them now to impact 100, 200 kids. But can you think about a school principal that might be impacting thousands of kids, or a school board member that's a Teach for America alum and they're impacting a whole district, or someone working at the DOE impacting a whole consortium? And so those are the types of systems level leaders in education that we are focusing on developing our alumni into. And I get really excited talking about the alumni story because I just look at them as they are going to be those that are the leaders that are making the critical decisions that are going to shape our educational landscape.
So true. So true. I was just going to mention that. I don't know if you're watching, but your passion, your face, you're lighting up. I mean, this is so you.
Yeah.
This is so divine for you to be in this seat right now at this critical time. And I'm so happy that you, knowing your backstory, moved to Miami.
Yes.
To
Almost
take
3
on,
years.
to take on this role. So I want you to share about why your passion for education and what that looks like for you.
Okay. When I think about why I wanted to be in education, I look back and I look forward. I grew up in a very rural town, South Carolina. My mother had me as a teenager. And so we were growing up at the same time. And I just was innately good at school, but I didn't have that accountability system. And so there were teachers that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I just remember in 3rd grade, my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Hopper, there were a set of students that were being pulled out of the classroom and going to a special class. So I remember sitting on her lap, and yes, back in the 80s.
You could do that. You could do that. Not today.
Not today. And I was like, well, Miss Hooper, why are these kids going out? She was like, those are our gifted and talented students. They go out, they get an extra set of, learning at a higher level. And I was like, well, I want to go.
Right.
And she was like, okay, well, we'll get you tested. And that was my first entry point in being able to have a more elevated experience. So it was people like Miss Hooper that believed in me. It was teachers like Miss Williams that pulled on me. And so I think back to that, and I wanted to be that for my students, especially in mathematics. So I soared in math. I made straight A's in math all through. So I was like, I'm going to go to college and major in it, which was not probably the best because it was hard. Because in college, when you're studying math, you understand the why behind it. And so I just remember my real analysis class doing one math problem that had 3 chalkboards that I had to fill 3 chalkboards. But I want, my favorite thing about math is like when kids' face light up, because math is scary, especially for students of color. And you never really find people that are excited about math. So I wanted to take my joy, my achievement for math and give that to my kids, especially my students that were afraid of it. And so I want everybody in this nation to have the opportunity to have a Miss Hopper, Miss Wells, Miss Richardson. But I also think about my 3 boys. I have 3 school-age boys that go to school here in Miami-Dade, and there are stark statistics about black males, especially black males that cannot read at a 3rd grade level. And so I look at my boys and I was like, this education system has to be set up to prepare you to have a bright future, your peers and other students that might not have the same level of access or opportunity to have a education that's going to allow for them to make true choice about their future. So that's a little bit about my why. I know that I am here for education. I never thought about being in any other field. This is my 23rd year in education. So
wow, look at the face.
I started at
these faces.
I started at 10, but I can't see anything else in my pathway for my future, except for being able to ensure that education is first and foremost for all folks.
Yeah, and I love that story. I think it's not strange that if you were to ask people a lot of times who was influential in their life besides a family member, the next thing that typically would come up is a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think we have to put emphasis on how important teachers really are and make sure that the entire landscape really provides for them, because they are the foundation of everything really that we do. We cannot do much without an education, without learning, without starting from, the beginning and getting those basics on how to learn. That is so incredible. I'm just so excited that you're here with us. I want to, in a few minutes, we're going to play Social Yaks, but I want to ask you, where do you see this landscape being in the next 5 to 10 years? Because I feel like there are so many options now for schools, for the types of schools that are being set up. And there was a big thing when, charter schools came out and, you already have private schools. And so what do you see happening in the educational landscape as a whole?
I do feel like at this point, everybody that's working on educational system barriers are focused on the right things. Literacy is at the top of everyone's mind, because we know that there are specific key educational milestones that will support kids in having a good trajectory if they master those. So they're focused on the right things, making sure kids are grade level in reading and math, making sure that they are in school, and making sure that if there is an infraction, there are other ways for kids to continue to matriculate and not be out of school. So we're focused on the right things at the short term, and making sure we're wrapping around kids for other supports. In the long term, we really have to pull ourselves up and think about how we're shifting education into 21st century strategies. If you think about when you were in school, when I was in school, it's pretty much the same way. The system has been the same for the whole time. And so now we got to think about how are we going to embed AI into education? What are other innovations that are going to support teachers in getting students to outcomes? So I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll start to see differentiated ways where students can show how they are mastering content above a test. They're going to move forward to standards-based instruction and things of that nature. So I have hope about how we are going to change the educational trajectory, long-term and short-term, because I feel like we're all kind of collectively focused on the right things, and we're going to move the needle in the right direction. Will it be perfect? Absolutely not. But I think that we'll begin to look at innovations and best practices that that we can pull from to continue to elevate opportunities for students and educators moving forward.
So good, so good. I would love to talk more about this, but we're coming down to the wire, and it's so interesting to me because actually, when I thought about this morning, even driving here, my mom was a teacher. She was a teacher in the islands, so I was like, no wonder I do this with the kids. It's almost like the giftings that kind of pass through generations, and you don't realize that you're doing it.
Right.
And it didn't hit me until today, like, she was a teacher, right? And we're talking about this. So really cool to see how, even the giftings that we've passed on to us, we don't recognize how much teaching is a part of our everyday lives. I think when we're even in the schools, we're teaching hard skills, and we still need, the facilitators and the educational support from the system to come in and fill those gaps where kids are emotionally just really struggling and they're needing help to navigate through certain traumas.
Yeah, you all are definitely teachers. You're teachers of the heart.
Yes.
Like, we just teach it different. We're teachers of the head at Teacher America. You all are teachers of the heart. So
I love that,
everybody, like you said, is responsible and needed to be able to grow our students.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. So we're going to switch quickly to the part where we play social yaks. Woo. You can look this up online. We are selling it on Amazon and on our website. It's an amazing tool if you want to get to know someone better, if you want to encourage empathy and vulnerability. We do it with corporations. We do it with other nonprofits. We've had a really great time with this game, and stay tuned for so much more to come with that. So we will start. The first part of the game is breaking the ice. So I'm going to have you pick the first card.
Okay.
Read it aloud to the audience, and then they're going to get to know a little bit more about you.
What's one thing that can instantly make your day better? Okay. The one thing that I know instantly makes my day better is I have a 6-year-old. And when boys get older, they don't want to hug.
Right.
And so not my 6-year-old. I am what you call, I am the best cuddle buddy in the house. And so what makes my day bright every morning is him coming into my room, and like for 5 minutes, we just sit and cuddle. And I'm just like, you are mommy. Hey, I was like, and I always say, is that mommy's little cuddle buddy? And he was like, yes, it's me. And he'd walk in. So I have to start my day that way. And so that just sets me up on a high note. And if he misses the day sometimes if he's grouchy.
Right.
But for the most part, that is how I wake up every morning.
That is so cute. Well, let me encourage you. So I have a 12-year-old, and we may not say cuddle buddy, but as soon as I come home, he's like, I want a hug.
Oh, yeah.
And we stand there for a few minutes until he lets go.
Okay.
And he's 12. So this could go long, and so be encouraged.
Yes.
And I love it because eventually, when I think about him, he's going to move out and be on his own, and I won't be able to get those hugs, right?
Yeah.
So
my 17-year-old just gives me a side hug. I was like, but you were my baby.
Right. Right. Life changes. All right. So we are going to go to the next level because we're getting short on time here. Get social. That is our yak
All right.
level.
All right. Ooh. This one is, what was your favorite game or toy growing up? This is definitely going to age me. But my favorite game that I would spend hours on the computer playing was Oregon Trail.
Oh my goodness.
I loved Oregon Trail, and I wanted,
determined to beat it.
I wanted, if my folks went into famine, we were going to buy food.
I'm like,
it really taught you like survivalist, like, because you're in the buggy, you be like, oh, the buggy,
the wheel broke, the tire.
Let me use my little money. I wish they had an Oregon Trail.
Oh my goodness. I wonder if it still exists. Now you're going to make me go and look that up because that was such a cool game. They probably still have it.
I loved it.
I remember like trying to go, and then you got to go this far.
Yeah.
And then the tires break.
Yeah.
Or somebody says
your
they're
axle.
hungry.
Your
axle. Yeah, your
broken.
axle. Yeah, it's not the tire.
No.
Yeah, your axle. Oh my goodness.
Yes. But yeah,
so funny.
Not only did it teach you about history, it taught you how to be a survivalist on the land.
literally through your computer. So cool. All right. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to help you pass it to you there.
Okay.
We're going deeper, y'all.
Ooh. Describe your family in a sentence. Lord. My family is joyful, complicated while being loving. Yeah. We know we love each other. We might have our differences, but we always come together in joy. Like there's never anything that we can't navigate together.
Yeah.
But again, we all have our entry points.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
So good. Aw. That's so great. All right. So the purpose of this game is as you begin to share, which of course in another setting would have played this longer. You're opening yourself up to people who you may not know, or maybe with family members, or you're playing with friends. The last part of the game, which is use wisdom, is where you're going to read the card and I'm going to share something about you. And so it kind of seals you back up.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm going to pass
I definitely
it
was not
to
playing
you.
this right.
Right. See, no one does. Okay, we're going to do a tutorial on playing social yaks. I'm just kidding.
Okay. What is one thing that you believe I should be grateful for and why?
I would say I think you should be grateful for the fact that Miss Hopper, right, saw something in you that was so special. To today, you are creating, oh my goodness, you are creating like millions of Miss Hoppers.
Oh.
If you really think about it. And I don't know when you might have recognized like I'm on to something here, but I see it from the moment that I met you and the way you talked about Teach for America. I think you should just be, I think the gratefulness just comes from knowing that you were divinely just set up all along, right?
Yeah.
It was the right time for you to ask that question. It was the right time for Miss Hopper to be there. It was the right time for you to go to that school and realize like, oh my goodness, I'm majoring in math, which I barely meet people that say that they have a degree in math. So I think you are just way cool. But that's what I think you should be grateful for, that you are creating so many Miss Hoppers and you're changing so many kids' lives. And, one day I hope you get to see, when you're older, you get to see the fruit of your labor.
I'm hoping for it. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Really, really good stuff. Oh my goodness. I would love to spend more time, but of course we have a timed show. I want you to share about Teach for America and anything that you think someone needs to know as we close out. I think something important that you said was getting those younger folks to really get involved. And so even if you want to talk about that, whatever you feel is on your heart, I think it's important because you might have parents whose kids are now entering into that field, or they may want to switch careers.
Yeah.
So feel free to share.
Well, we are always looking for amazing teachers. We are a national nonprofit. We've been providing almost 1,500 excellent teachers to Miami-Dade for over 20 years. So we're excited to be able to bring that back into the funnel. We need community support. We are stronger together, and the only way that our kids are going to get what they need is by way of all of us putting our minds together to be able to create viable solutions for them. So I encourage you to do something that is going to directly benefit or impact a student in your life, because they're going to always remember that. If you want to get into the work of recruiting teachers, tell them about the teacher shortage. Tell them that Teach for America, TAP, other organizations, Miami-Dade County START programs, those are options that people can come into the teaching field. We need great teachers, and there are wonderful support systems that are going to be able to move them along. If you like to support the cause in any way, give your time, talent, and treasure. We need to elevate the narrative of the importance of bringing high-quality teacher candidates to South Florida. We need people that have marketing skills, business strategy. So there are multiple ways that you can give. If you want to learn more about Teach for America, please look at us at teachforamerica.org. We always need supporters in the partnership realm, in the revenue realm. And we just want to be able to support and impact as many students as we possibly can across Miami-Dade. So I appreciate you allowing me to share a little bit more.
Yes, I love that. I love what you all are doing. I can remember my favorite teacher, Miss Hernandez. She was a Hispanic woman. She came in. We would when we had field days. I was just like, this woman is so beautiful and fun and smart and fun.
Field days were the
Just
best, weren't they?
field days, right? And I want to
Love
be like her. She was just so cool. We would sing songs to memorize things,
Yeah.
things like that. So I remember her. So anyway, I would say definitely reach out to Miss LaKeisha Wells Palmer. She is the executive director statewide for the Florida region, and definitely visit their website. Give to them today and support their cause. With that said, I want to leave with you this. Think about ways that you could be a Miss Hopper. It doesn't have to necessarily always be in a teacher field per se, but you can coach someone, you can mentor someone, you can give someone a phone call and let them know how much you care for them, how much you're willing to support them. We all need that. We all need community. We're here for you. We love you. Have a great day. And that ends our show. See you soon.